If you really want to understand the tech that's shaping our world, do me a quick favor. Take 1 second to like this explainer and hit that subscribe button for @BrandTechAuth right down below. It's just a small click for you, but honestly, it makes a huge difference for us. All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to break down Google's own internal blueprint for AI. We're going to figure out exactly why those incredible AI agents you see in all the demos, well, why they just haven't shown up in the real world yet. You've definitely seen them, right? Those super slick demos where an AI agent just perfectly handles some complex business task. And it looks amazing. But then you look around your own company and nothing. You start to wonder, where is this stuff? Why isn't this technology actually running anything important? And you know what? That's a massive frustration across the entire industry right now. And that exact gap, the one between the hype and the reality, is what we're tackling today. We're going to pull back the curtain on this whole AI demo illusion and get right to the real, practical challenges of actually making this stuff work. Now, our guide for this is coming from inside the machine. Seriously, we're using insights from Michael Gerstenhaber. He's a VP at Google Cloud, and he runs their whole enterprise AI platform. So this is a guy who has seen what works, he's seen what doesn't, and he points to one huge thing holding it all back: missing infrastructure. So you might be asking, why is Google's perspective so important? Well, it's because they are completely vertically integrated. I mean, they control everything, from their own physical power plants and custom-built AI chips, all the way up to the models and the APIs that developers actually use. This gives them a sort of God's eye view of the entire AI stack that almost nobody else on the planet has. And from that unique vantage point, they figured something out. This whole AI race we hear about, it's not just a simple sprint to see who can build the single smartest model. Nope. They see it as a battle being fought on 3 totally separate fronts. And here they are. These are the 3 competing priorities that every single company has to juggle when they're trying to use AI: raw intelligence, pure speed or latency, and of course, cost. Here's the catch. You almost never get all 3 at once. You have to pick which frontier you're really pushing on. This table breaks it down perfectly. Think about raw intelligence. That's for a developer writing really complex code. For latency, that's something like a live customer support chat. And for cost, you're talking about something massive, like moderating every piece of content on a social media platform. You can see how each one has a completely different main goal. Let's look a little closer at raw intelligence. Okay, if you're an engineer and an AI can spit out a perfect, maintainable chunk of code for a really tricky problem, you do not care if it takes 45 minutes to do it. The quality of that answer is everything. Speed is almost totally irrelevant. A perfect answer that saves you days of work, that's a huge win. But now, flip that completely on its head and look at the latency frontier. In a live chat, you have what's called a latency budget. The model has to figure out the customer's problem and give a helpful answer before that person gets fed up and just hangs up. So the key insight here is you have to trade some of that raw intelligence for speed. The smartest model on Earth is completely useless if it's too slow to help. Okay, so if we understand these trade-offs, why are the most advanced AIs, the agentic ones that are supposed to act on their own, why are they still stuck in the lab? This brings us to the real bottleneck. And as Gerstenhaber says right here, this technology is brand new. I mean, basically 2 years old. And right now, the models themselves, they're not really the problem. The problem is that the basic infrastructure you need to run them safely inside a business just hasn't been built yet. This slide just nails the difference between theory and reality. The demos show this perfect autonomous agent that has access to everything. But to put that same agent into a real production environment, you need audit trails to see what it did, you need strict authorization for the data it can touch, and you absolutely need safety nets to stop it from going haywire. So what are the 2 biggest missing pieces? It's these. First, we need established, reliable ways to audit what the AI is actually doing, step by step. And second, we need secure, really granular systems to control exactly what data that agent is allowed to see and use. Without those 2 things, no responsible company on Earth can just let an AI run loose. But, and this is interesting, there is one surprising field where agentic AI is already taking off, and understanding why it's working there gives us the blueprint for everywhere else. And that field is software engineering. The reason it's working isn't that the AI models are magically better at coding. Nope. It's because the entire profession of software development is already built around a culture of safety nets and managing risk. They've been doing this for decades. You see, developers have two massive advantages. First, they have dev environments. These are basically sandboxes where it's totally safe to experiment and break stuff without impacting any live customers. And second, they have a mandatory human-in-the-loop process, like peer code reviews, where at least one other person has to approve the AI's work before it ever goes live. And that right there brings us to the final and most actionable takeaway. This isn't just some secret for developers. It's a playbook that literally any department can use to get AI into production safely. So here's the big insight. If you want to deploy an AI agent in marketing or finance or HR, you have to stop thinking of it as some magic intern. You need to start treating it like a junior software engineer. It needs the same process and the same guardrails. So here's the blueprint. It's 3 steps. First, build a dev environment for your business process, a safe sandbox where the AI can practice without any real-world consequences. Second, implement a strict human review process, where a team member has to approve the AI's outputs before they become final. And only then can you deploy it with the audit trails you need to actually have confidence in what it's doing. So, I'll leave you with a final question to think about. When you look at your own business or your own industry, which of these 3 frontiers is the real bottleneck holding you back? Is it raw intelligence? Is it the need for speed? Or is it the constant pressure of cost? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so